I still don't know when. Ah, there we go. You're live. Ah, 2 likes and 7 viewers. That's a good start. Hey guys. Um, so finally finished the other character. I'll be uploading a video, not breakdown, but kind of progression and hopefully turntable. I still haven't figured out how I'm going to do that yet, just because it takes so long to render. But yeah, I'll be uploading kind of the final results of the Rowan creature pretty soon. Although anyone with me on social media would have seen it. I posted it last night, and then today I posted it on a few groups. So it's time to move on to new projects. I'm gonna be completely out of my comfort zone. So, as a disclaimer now and an excuse later, I really suck at digi doubles and female faces. So this is the perfect storm of things going wrong for me.
She's kind of got like an emasculated.
Yeah, I mean her face is super unique, which is why I'm kind of pulled to making a version of it. So this is the exact image we're going to go for is this one. I will kind of match this general composition, a square image with just her face. But this ref is super high res, which is quite nice, so you can see like literally the peach fuzz and everything. So this is going to be my main ref, working wise. But yeah, so we'll be starting from a sphere. I don't really have any base meshes that I can really use for this. I've got a male digidouble I did like a couple of years ago, but I kind of want to build it from scratch just because I think once I've done with this project, I'm going to use this as a base mesh for every other project from there. So I just set up the UVs and the topology that I'll use for every human character, and then I can just use that. Although I'll only be doing the bust, I won't be doing the full body. But yeah, so this is a singer called FKA Twigs. Apparently people have heard of her. I'd never heard of her before a stream. Pardon? I am a disgrace. Although I've listened to her music recently, she's pretty cool. But yeah, so as I said, I'm completely out of my comfort zone. So if anyone has advice while I go, do let me know. In the meantime, I'm just going to start sculpting. Let's get the pen. So Z forward. And let's just quickly drag that out. I just want to set up my brushes before I do anything. So no alpha, then clay tubes. Alpha modify radial fade. There we go. Something around that, and PDS. That'll do for now. Cool. So let's get this ref. Come on, stand to the front. There we go. So in terms of scale, I'm not going to worry about that yet. Basically, I'm just going to sculpt it at whatever scale this happens to be. And then once I've got to a point where I can start retopo, I'll move on to retopo, and then I'll scale it in Maya, because I'll have like a set, a proper setup at that point. This is really high res. I'm going to lower the resolution on this guy. 64. I like to work as low res as I can at the beginning stages. I also like to change the color. Let's go more. There we go. So I'm not going to worry about likeness for a while. I'm just going to get like kind of a generally natural feeling face first. Obviously it's going to take, the base sculpt is going to take quite a few streams. I'm not a likeness sculptor at all. I generally sculpt stylized and approach the whole thing with it's my style type approach. So quite nervous, to be honest. Her nose is too big. But let's not worry about that too much. Not you. One thing that I've noticed with FKA Twigs is she got a really pouty mouth. Like her mouth is almost never closed. So that would be kind of interesting to do. Like the base pose for this will be like mouth open, which is quite odd. Oh, now it downrises. She has a really skinny neck. Her neck is also quite far forward. Quite interesting.
Beautiful.
Yeah, no, right. So the entire lower face is pulled out quite far.
It's too warm.
It is. It's very warm.
Something end my suffering.
You've lived with me for a good 8 months now. Your suffering's been going for a while.
I don't know who Freeman BG is, but it's a yeast, therefore they are the winners of the stream already. Her chin is even more forward than you have it.
Hmm? What?
Her chin is like even more forward than you have.
Yeah, I haven't really like got into that sort of stuff yet, don't worry.
Did you start with a planar model or what did you start with?
I started with Sphere.
What? What?
What?
Where did the little model thing come at the top then?
What are you on about? That thing?
Yeah, a little thing.
That's just a rotation tool.
Ah.
It's the head planes kind of built in. My favourite like new feature is the silhouette tool. It's like in the top left is a permanent silhouette. And it's just really helpful for checking. Granted, I'm not at that stage yet, so. But yeah, something I'm going to be fighting throughout this entire series is making it feel masculine.
Yeah, already. Base needs to be thinner.
Yeah, I know, I'm blocking out forms. I don't need feedback yet, don't worry. It's like, Becca, how do I detail this? It's like, alright, so let's go like that. What?
I'm just having like mad TV flashbacks from Mrs. I think it's like Mrs. Swan, and they're like, what do they look like? And she's like, he looks like a man. That's all I'm having flashbacks to. Hey, little man, good to see ya.
Just more of an Adam's apple than I expect. Hate the new gizmo. There we go. Does anyone know how to get rid of the really deep shadows in ZBrush? I'm just going to light. I know I can add a second light that's below, but that just flattens everything. It's not ideal. Nope. I don't know what a default of that is. 1, 2, 8. That's not one. that lip though. Let's round that out a bit. Let's get rid of that eye actually. Really happy you chose to do this project. I'm not sure I am yet. We'll see. The first bit of any likeness sculpt is always super frustrating just because I've never pushed it through. Like I've never pushed through a likeness sculpt that far. So like the self-doubt is really strong.
You got it. I'm like your little cheerleader.
What?
I'll be your cheerleader.
I've got that song stuck in my head now.
Oh,
Found myself a cheer.
Brian, captain of the cheer squad. Oh my god.
have to figure out where I can do camera lineups. Keep accidentally changing the focal length. Oh, focal side shift even. I should give myself a bit more breathing room. Neck is way too short.
She looks effeminate.
Hmm? What, sorry?
I'm actually like sticking to my seat.
Oh, really? Because of the humidity?
The heat.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Her head is really, really weirdly shaped.
Huh?
Her head is really weirdly shaped in my sculpt.
She's got quite like a lot of like different. I think she's got a really like diverse background as well. If that makes sense. So like
Oh,
her
yeah,
skull,
definitely.
so like, she's not just like.
Well, her mouth is quite far forward, which is like more of an African trait.
Yeah, and
But
her nose is quite pointed.
Her neck is so slim. Is that an African trait or?
No, and then her nose is very pointy.
Yeah, it is.
Like it's got that little like beak, but that's very non.
This
You know what I
mouth
mean?
is going to be really hard to sculpt.
It looks so cool though. She's got. I love the point she has.
Yeah, but fighting the duck face looking thing is going to be. Because she doesn't look like she's doing a duck face, but I'm going to, no matter what, I'm going to end up sculpting it like a duck face every single time I try. I guarantee it. I've never sculpted like an African style mouth before. It's not easy. It's just pushed out now. Let me try smoothing that out a bit.
I thought I could hear noise
What's sorry?
in the background. I thought I could hear.
I need to smooth stronger. Where is it? From her wiki, her father's Jamaican, her mother is an English woman of partly Spanish descent.
There you go. So it's like all different
Yeah.
things together. That's pretty cool.
That's better. There's like a very slight lag in the brush inputs, driving me slightly crazy. Let's just see this from the front. Good images of her from the front. Okay.
Had to crack my bones.
She's got a super round brow as well.
lad doesn't have pockets on his running shorts, and he had a makeshift like.
Who doesn't?
Pranav.
Oh, Pranav.
He was like, how am I supposed to do this? So he's got he duct taped his keys to his water bottle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's so dumb.
And then it's thrown in his hand. That was so funny. She got one nostril. I know that's a different angle. Is one nostril slightly smaller than hers? I know that's a different
I think it's the angle. It's hard to tell though. Clay buildup is a really great smooth tool.
Hmm?
Clay buildup is a really great smooth tool. Hey, Francisco. To increase this strength. Definitely need to turn off smooth strong as well. It's way too intense for this. I have an image of this somewhere, right? This is going to be a hell of a project. Excited to see it. Yep. I'm genuinely terrified of this project, to be honest. It'll be fun, but genuinely terrified.
Of what?
Just showing incompetence.
It's all about the learning process.
Oh, it is all about learning process. Still though. Everyone gets scared of showing themselves up.
Mm. I feel like everyone likes to be able to say that, you know, people aren't perfect and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I'm fully expecting to not be happy with the results of this, but I'm also fully expecting to learn an absolute ton. Not everyone can pick up this sort of stuff super quick. I count myself in that camp, as in people who can't pick it up quick. Do we have a good angle of the nostril from this side? I've got a lot of proportional issues at the moment, but I'm kind of focusing on, I want to get the features in place so then I can just push and pull them around. Collar finish here looks good enough. Perfect. Awkward Polly commented, "Girl, be fine, goddamn." She's got like a angle change there. It's a bit of a plane change. I need to set my focal length actually. What camera size are we using? Let's try 50mm. Or 85mm even. Wrong thing. I'm trying to sculpt a digidouble. Is that what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm hoping to recreate this image as accurately as possible. So going all out, like modeling every little detail. Hopefully making something as close to photoreal as I can get. Photoreal digidouble is something I've never personally done before. Obviously, professionally, I've done photoreal grooms, like quite a few of them, or close to photoreal. Nothing is ever truly photoreal. But yeah, obviously the groom side of things, but in terms of texturing and look dev and all that sort of stuff, I've never done a photoreal project, so I'm just going to push as far as I can. And if I can't get something that looks photoreal, then hopefully get something that looks appealing. Like maybe what we could find ends up happening is if I realize that photoreal is never going to happen and it's going to look really bad, then I'll shift it subtly, just enough for it to be not stylized, but you know, just enough for it to be still good looking, but not realistic. Because it's like I want to avoid the uncanny valley, basically. And if I can avoid it by very mildly, you know, overdoing some forms, then I'll do that. But ideally, I want to be as realistic as possible. At least for the final result. It'll take me a while to get there. Her mouth is so tiny. And it lines up in the places it should, but... Starting to get the planes in the right place. It looks wrong from this angle and this angle, so I need to work on those a bit more. That's what I'll very quickly get something in place for the collarbones. This image is quite helpful because it's from the same like shoot as this one, but it shows just a little bit lower down. There is an image that goes even further down, but I figured let's keep it safe for YouTube because it is quite revealing. Granted, this is posed, so a lot of forms aren't going to be in the right place, but it's still helpful to kind of see, like, you know, how low are shoulders compared to a body, that sort of stuff. Insert primitives. Let's just insert a... I want to increase the width of it, but I don't want to just drag the shapes I've got, so... get a general deltoid in place. Not too worried about this looking perfect, but and let's blend that into the body a little bit. I always like to use insert meshes to kind of extend borders rather than straight up pulling edges. And then meshing. Such a long neck.
Watching a really weird Netflix series, and I feel like the premise is cool, but the acting is just either dubbed or shit. I can't tell which.
What, sorry?
I can't tell if the acting is dubbed. If that makes sense, like
If the acting is dubbed.
as in like I can't tell if the audio is dubbed because there's a slight delay on my phone.
Alright.
So, but they look like they are speaking English, but it just looks dubbed. But the
Yeah.
acting just doesn't match. I don't know the way they're acting. It's like the voices don't.
Just
match
doesn't
the
feel
face.
right.
It doesn't match their faces, which makes me think it's dubbed. I can't tell, but
Weird.
it's like it's really disappointing because it happens with any of the dead bodies or anything. So it's like a world, you know, like apocalypse style thing, and it's like oh they're it's like the sun Polaris is the polar whatever of the sun has changed. So it's like if the sun hits you, you actually choke to death, like you die.
Alright.
But these people are on an airplane and they're flying at night, so they obviously don't know.
Yeah.
And then when they land, it's like everyone's dead. So like one of the guys on the plane knows because he was in one of the places when it happened, and he managed to get away. So he like hijacks the plane and basically says, "We need to go, you know, here now."
Yeah.
And they do that, but I don't know the rest of it. It's weird. It's just the acting doesn't match. I'm so confused. I'm so conflicted.
What's the name of this thing again?
I can't remember the name of it. Into the Night.
Into the Night. Never heard of it.
But the acting just doesn't feel right. But all the names of the actors are like German or foreign, so it makes me feel like it is a European series, and they've dubbed it, and I'm just so confused. It just happens that on this plane there's a European scientist, climate change scientist with the EU.
Do all that. Hey, Andrew. Right, something I'm going to do. Let's append it's a tool, append. That's not what I want. Why is it not setting to world space? If you guys don't know this, if you hold control with the move tool, it duplicates the whatever object you got selected.
Why do it to me?
I'm creating the eyes because I'm really struggling with proportions right now. So the head is roughly 5 and a little bit eyes wide.
Oh.
So I'm gonna get these, scale them down, and like obviously they won't line up as in this won't be the start of one eye, start of the other, but the size will be roughly this. So then I can just delete middle and just move them to match. So let's get that roughly in the middle. I have to obviously scale that way down. Let's go into deformation to scale it. So let's go into transparent mode. Let's turn on the gizmo. That's not what I want. So if we go back to this guy, so now what I can do is go back onto you, auto group these. So going to polygroups, auto group, select you, select you. So this is roughly the size of the eye, not the eyeball, the eye itself. The eye shape is actually larger than the eyeball. Like oversized eyeballs or something that are quite common in art anyway. So I'm going to try to avoid that. It's delete hidden. So these are roughly the right size. So I need to make sure I don't change the scale of these, at least while I'm blocking. And then maybe for now, let's do. Let's delete hidden. and mirroring world. So we can place this roughly where we want the eye to go. Around here is okay. And then let's just go into our overmesh, turn on transparent, and just mark it. So that is roughly the size that we want our eyes to be. Which is actually pretty much what I sculpted, which is reassuring. So let's get that front ref. She's got a super weird eye shape. Like, it's kind of it's a cool weird, but it's still weird. It's like the tallest point is actually way further out than I expected it to be. It's like here. But actually, let's try something new. I'm gonna try to draw it in a mask. Too wide. That won't give me the effect I want. What I need is to scale that. It's not what I expected. Now I'm just going to sculpt the eyes in, have them visible. Not like that though. Let's not do that. I'm also wondering if on this project, so on the Rowan creature, I did the caruncle, so this section just on the inside of the eye. There's a little bit that does that. I modelled that bit as a separate piece. I'm wondering if on this project I should model that as the same thing. I need to turn perspective back on. There we go. So this is too tall. That's too low. That's too... It's really difficult for me to figure out eye sockets. The best way I've found works for me is making half spheres to make the eyelids. Yeah, I mean, what I used to do for eyelids is I would insert a sphere. I can't remember where I got this trick from. So if you get a sphere, let's add an eye on the side of the head. So you do something like that. Then you get the slice tool. So let's go move that to the other screen for a sec. So you get the slice tool. So just using this guy. Slice curve will do. Let's separate that to a different mesh. So split unmasked. Cool. And you just do something like that. Roughly halfway through the eye. Then what you can do is, well, in fact, we should divide that a few times. There we go. Split. Come on. Geometry. Delete lower. Yeah, no. I won't. God. There we go. So let's say that will do for now. I then go into is it modified topology? I don't know. How did I do it again? Oh yeah, that's how. So now I duplicate this guy. Duplicate. Then what I can do is isolate this one for that guy and delete hidden. And then I go to the other one, isolate the top, delete hidden. Did I split hidden in the last one? Geometry, delete hidden. You can do close holes. That will fill the middle bit. And then close holes in this guy. Where is it? Geometry, close holes. Now all you have to do is, obviously imagine this is like halfway in the head. You just get the rotate and you've got something like that. You get 3 eyelids. You just have to kind of go in now and tweak the shape. But you got eyelids with a very, very clean edge. Generally pulling the top lid over the bottom lid works quite well. That's how I used to do eyelids. It still works quite well, I just prefer not to now. I find it quicker just to sculpt it out. But if you want super clean shapes, like the stuff that like Daniel Garcia does, for example, or Dan Garcia. He goes by Dan Garcia, right?
Hmm?
Dan Garcia? Or is it Daniel Garcia?
Dan.
Dan. If you want like super clean shapes like his sort of stuff, then I find that technique works super well. It's also great for making Pac-Man. But yeah, so maybe that could help you out. If you do a quick smooth over, it makes it feel more organic. And yeah, you just dynamesh those together and you got eyelids. I can't remember who I got that trick from. It was just a random YouTube thing, I think. I think it was it wasn't Polygon, because I don't think he was making videos about them. I think it was like Point Pusher or someone like that. It is definitely someone along those lines. What am I doing right now? Oh, those are the reference meshes, yeah, of course. Right, so the eyeball size, if we get that guy, is let's append geometry, so tool, append sphere, get you, do that. Cool, and then do that again. And just move the whole thing off to the side. Like that. And just mirror and weld. Flip in a mirror and weld. Deformation. Mirror. Geometry. Cool. So these are the size of the eyeballs. Obviously not right now, but if I get the whole thing and scale it, make this just a tiny bit larger than the size of the head. So something like that. Obviously my head's too large, but this is roughly the size of the eyeball, approximately, relative to the head. I may have to go a little bit larger, something like that. And then again, same as last time, you just auto group these. So in fact I can get rid of all of them except one, and then mirror and weld it back over. If I go into polygroups, auto group, delete hidden, but no, I need to do the other side. Geometry, modify topology, delete hidden, mirror and weld. This is roughly the size of the eyeball. I don't want to scale. The eyeball sits quite high in the skull, generally speaking. Let's turn perspective back on. So then you can just use this to kind of wrap the eyelids around. Make sure you got a nice thickness to the eyelids, but also make sure it's relatively uniform. Relatively is a key word. It won't be perfectly uniform because the cornea naturally bulges out the middle a little bit more, or whatever direction you're looking in, bulges that out a little bit more. Let's just do that. So these are definitely too thick at the moment, but that's fine. It's better to have eyelids that are too thick than too thin. Because too thin just looks like really amateurish. I've never seen thin eyelids look good on a model. Granted, there's probably a million examples of them looking great, but not something I've ever seen. So let's get it might be too far in the head. We'll have to check the side view for that and bring my reference back on screen. See, it's hard to tell because she's at... Oh, no, it's definitely too far back. Alright, cool. Let's bring the eyelid eye forward. Beautiful. I think that's too far forward. Let's bring this guy back just a little bit. Too far forward now. Yeah, because I've got like no depth on the brow. Okay, undo that. Maybe the eye depth isn't the issue. Maybe the brow, how far forward that is the issue. Just to take a break from the face for a sec, I'm gonna do some ear sculpting. I say that and then immediately start sculpting the mouth.
Series is so weird.
What series is what?
Into the Night, a low budget Ellen Page is the main character.
Oh really?
Like literally wears hoodie and jacket is like the One of Us, you know, kind of character description.
Last of Us.
Last of Us, sorry. It's just that kind of like description. Like, you know, one of their archetype is a hoodie.
Yeah.
Like I love Ellen Page, I love her as an actress. It's like they've tried, like even with the hair, like the ponytail slicked back, it's her. But
Didn't she try to sue The Last of Us?
Did she not successfully? I think it's an ongoing, just because it is her likeness that they're admitted to using it.
Yeah.
Because I think apparently she wanted to be involved in the project or something stupid, and it was like, no. But the girl who...
Wait, they didn't let her be involved in the project?
No, I think she wanted to, but then it was like, they were already using someone. The girl, though, that they use as her acting, you know, as her mocap, looks so like her.
Yeah.
It is wild, because it doesn't help.
But then if the actress they have happens to look like her, then surely...
Yeah, you would think it would be like...
Like, it's not much of a legal case. It's like, oh, they're using my likeness. It's like, this girl is your likeness. Shall I say my line as well?
Rockin' and rollin'. I'm gonna put these in the fridge, Mark, because they don't help.
Put what in the fridge?
The raisins.
Oh yeah, then they're gonna really melt. See what her ears look like from the front. I always find ears from the front view like quite difficult to get. I don't know if it's a trick to getting them, but yeah, let's not spend too long on the ear. The rest of the model is in dire need of fixing. Let's just quickly sort out the earlobe. One aspect to consider with earlobes is that I think it's like, I can't remember what percentage it is, but there's a thing where a percentage of people it hangs completely freely, and another percentage it's directly attached to the head. So for some people you get it like very smoothly attached in, and other people like her it's completely free hanging. It's a pretty even percentage. It's not like one is super rare and the others are super common. Like it's like a 60-40 or something like that. But that's something that's quite important to get. And something I like to do is just have a little bump there. I use that as reference for placing everything else. There we go. Don't want it to look like it's been chewed by a dog though. So let's fix that. Alright, so this mouth is going to be what drives me mad, I think. Well, the entire lower face, to be honest. It's going to be one of those I'll keep coming back to over and over. So if I placed that in the middle of her eyes, that seems a bit wide for her mouth, so I feel like my eye placement is off. What's the most straight on image I have? I think it's this one. Cheekbones off. Yeah, so she has a super narrow, is it narrow? I feel like her mouth is quite narrow. Earlobe is way off for mine. I feel like this isn't correct. Let me undo all that stuff. I need to, for the next stream, or in time for the next stream, I'm going to have to look into how to use the ZBrush Spotlight. Just so I can like actually line up the reference. And as soon as we can, we need to get into Maya as well, because that's true cameras, actual cameras that care about distortion. I keep getting that underbite. Right, okay. So bottom lip is dominant. There's no doubting that. It's a bit too low res. I'm going to really struggle with the nose throughout this entire series, I think. Let's get some face anatomy in there. I'm going to forget the names of all these muscles as I go, but just get them in at least. Trying to make another 20-part series, or it's done when it's done. It's done when it's done. It could take forever. It could be 15 parts. It could be 50. I don't really care how long it takes.
It should be 40 years.
40 years. Basically, just however long it takes for me to get something I'm happy with, or however long it takes me to be so demoralised that I can't continue.
No.
What?
Not allowed.
Not allowed.
You
Okay.
will finish.
I will. I'll finish it. It's just a case of how good it will be when I finish it.
Ooh.
So let's fill this. Let's fill this in a little bit. I'm gonna intentionally over-define the lower lid.
So you can see the form.
Yeah, so I can see where it is. Because, like, although there's not much of a plane change on her,
She's got quite like a really soft.
it's super soft. But the thing is, that's visually.
No,
What?
this bit is like so soft. It's
Yeah,
so, there's
no.
like literally no shadow. That's so cool.
Yeah,
It's just like flat. You know
it's
what I
gonna
mean?
be
It's just-
so difficult to get.
I feel like this part of her nose is just flat. You know what I mean? It's like her shadow's just completely gone.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. It's going to be one of the most difficult bits to get, I think. I mean, likeness is already hard, but she's got like really unique features, which is why I want to make a version of her. But oh yeah, and on the done when it's done type thing. So the other one was a 20-part series by just sheer, that's when it was finished. So I didn't plan on it being a nice round number. Because that would assume that I can plan my time on this asset to the point of knowing how long each part will take, and I have no idea how long it'll take. Like, it could very well be the case where I finish the sculpt in 3 or 4 sessions and to something that has likeness, but chances are that won't happen. More than likely, it'll be a huge amount of back and forth with this. The nose is going to be tricky. Her nose is super, super unique.
She's got my sister's nose, which is like a tiny upturn at the end. You see it? It's weird.
At least it looks somewhat feminine.
It looks feminine, yeah.
Somewhat feminine. Likeness is hard, dude. It's amazing how silly humans are to resemble. By nature, I mean. Yeah, it's likeness is always one of those things. It really separates pro artists from like non-pro artists, and obviously, like I work professionally, but that doesn't mean I'm a pro artist all around. Like, I'm gonna get lost on this asset. There's no doubt about that. And so I was saying at the start of this stream, like, I'm super nervous about like really showing myself up. Of course, you know, who knows? It could end up being quite a successful asset. It could end up being quite nice, but I'm not expecting this to turn out super, super nice. Where is that line? It's too narrow. I know the line isn't really visible on her, but I still need to know where it is. There feels good. The reason I need to know where it is it helps me define this direction here. If I have that very subtly in there, that will help, like, constantly. I feel like her upper lid is, like, super flat.
It is, yeah. She's barely got any like overhang.
Yeah. I just realised she's wearing shoulder pads. When did that happen?
Have you got any of her photos of her?
Do I have any other photos? I have many a photo.
Uh,
I need to get more photos, mind, because I haven't got every angle
will
yet.
zoom into your front?
Which one would?
Probably
This is the
the-
most front one I can find.
But she got a lot of makeup on. Go to the one, you know, not that one. You know, the one that's like her full head. Yeah, that one.
In this one, she has quite defined
Her
eye
eyes
bags.
are definitely further apart, and she's got like a flatter.
Further apart, you think? Or are they just wider?
I think they're wider. She's got really heavy eyelids. And do you know what also is a big thing for me as well?
What?
Is her face really fucking flat?
Probably, yeah.
Because you see, there's like literally, she has no shadows on her, like here.
Well, to be fair, this is so incredibly evenly lit. Like, if we go to the high res, like, there's
can
almost
see.
no directionality to any shadows.
So you might go to like one of the photos of her, like the more dynamic lighting, like her nose, but like no, even there, like zoom in, like look.
Yeah,
Like,
it's super flat.
she's got like this bit here is completely flat on, like even the 3/4. That's crazy.
Yep.
She has like a really fucking flat like face. That's cool.
Let's lower this brow a bit.
Already that like you just cutting that bit away helps.
Her face is longer, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Her this part of her chin. But I know
Yeah,
she's,
the
like,
chin
this-
I'm struggling a lot.
I know
Well,
she's,
her
like,
mouth is constantly open.
Yeah, she has.
She
but
always has her mouth open. Like, seriously, every single photo. Like, that one's
it's her
closed.
teeth. It's probably her default pose because of her teeth.
Yeah, she's got quite large teeth.
She's got an overhang, I think, from her lips.
Well, her bottom lip is dominant.
Yeah, I feel like this part. See, this bit is longer.
You think?
Like, pull down. Yeah, if you go to that
Okay.
photo of her from the front.
This one?
Yeah.
Her mouth needs to be slightly wider and slightly taller.
I think this. I'm trying to see where's her actual like these bits. I think you see these bits here, like her. corner of her
One
jaw.
sec.
Sorry. Yeah, that helps. Like adding her, she's got really heavy bagged eyes.
I need to fix the skull. So I need to fix the skull before I move on. I need to get a woman's skull reference visible. I think it's going to. We only got an hour and a half in. It's a solid base. Thank you. Just because it's a solid base doesn't mean it'll be a solid project though. Alright, so let's search female skull. What the hell is that saying? Were you just making noises and hoping that they'd be
Smart.
smart? Yeah.
Harry.
Jamaican skull. I guess. Would Jamaican? I guess she's more Jamaican than English, right? Like visibly, like her dad's genes were more dominant.
Yeah, I think so.
Jamaican. I was like. How the hell do you spell Jamaican? This is where I'm gonna. That word looks wrong. Oh, that's why it looks wrong, because it is wrong. There we go. Female. There we go.
You're gonna get some really weird shit, by the way.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%.
Maybe is there like human skulls online? Hang on.
I could search medical skull reference.
And there's so many of them, but they don't actually say like what.
I'm gonna drag this over to the other screen.
Ooh.
Let me
There's a piece called Bone Clones.
bone clones. You know who would be the best person to ask about this sort of stuff? Joe.
Yeah, where do you find good skulls? Where do you find good skulls, Joe?
Yeah, Joe. Where do you find your skulls that you own? should probably swap the order that these are in.
I remember listening to like a Reddit thing, and they were like pulling down the walls of this guy's house to build an extension, and he bought it, but the previous owner died, and they found like 3 human skulls in the wall.
Really?
But they never matched them to like a murder victim, and they had no cause of death, so they don't think they were victims. They think the guy was just fucking loony.
No, really. Let's pull. Something I like to do sometimes is if I don't know if something's working, I'll intentionally overdo it.
Yeah.
Like her side of the head is super flat, but having this landmark will help me get the top of the head, which is a lot pointier than I expected them to be.
Oh Jesus.
What? Did you regret a Google?
No, I imported in my hand to use just as a wee base mesh for this project I'm working on, and it's fucking huge. My hand for the pirate boy. It's too complicated actually for this. I just want the fun position.
I really need to fix those shoulders. They're bothering me so much.
It's got a tiny hand. Where's
Come on.
staff? Gandalf, where is your staff?
No, I don't want to slice rectangle. Why did I do that?
Oh, he's so cute.
Where's select? There it is. Select rectangle.
Wow. That's a cool boy. Okay, it's on that one.
What?
The like the Lord of the Rings stock photos are the funniest thing ever. It's just Ian McKellen looking really confused.
Doesn't he always look confused?
No, he's just cool.
Is that a door slamming?
Probably.
Okay. No.
What?
My favourite bug in ZBrush.
How do you unbug?
Don't know how to unbug that, to be honest. It's something to do with this section here. So what I'm going to do is cut that off. Delete hidden, close holes. There we go. So here's that section there. So what can I do to fix? I can massively inflate it. Now dynamesh it. There we go.
Bye, my babies.
So re-sculpt it. Trim dynamic is really great at this sort of area as well. Alt on trim dynamic is something that I feel like is underused. Need to fill this hole as well. There we go. Got the shoulders back now. She's got quite small arms. She's got really defined muscles, but quite small arms in general, proportionally. head's in the wrong place or her shoulder's in the wrong place. Something's in the wrong place. In fact, actually no, that root position's in the wrong. This, if I remember correctly, this should be pretty much vertical, which means that here's the anchor point. I think it's referred to as the mastoid process. It's been a while since I checked up on my anatomy. There's like a little nodule around here somewhere just behind the ear. And that's where the sternocleidomastoid attaches to. That's why it got its name. It's sternocleidomastoid. And it just connects all three of them.
It's connected to a cloud.
Cloudo, as in claudiomastoid. Sure, it's connected to cloud. Right, so what is her jaw from the side view? Much more shallow than mine, and also much more round than mine. Round down here. Not that round though.
Wow. These are hot heads.
Her nostrils are too high. The angle needs to be a lot more steep. Something like that feels better. Oh, I've missed quite a few messages. Have you heard of light brush? It splits reflections from albedo photographs really well. I haven't heard of it, no. It's something I can check out. Although one thing I'm quite fortunate about, it's by no means non-polarized, but the main image that I'm looking at is like super flat lighting. Like it's definitely not a polarized lens because you can see reflections on the metals, but it's so flat that I can probably just directly project this and darken it and saturate it a little bit more. That should be all I need to do, to be honest. Then heading on here, but great progress so far, man. Looking forward to seeing the next stream. Good luck and have a good night. Thanks, man. I've probably missed you, but yeah, enjoy the rest of your night, mate. I plan on breaking symmetry later to match lightness. Yeah. What I'll do is I'll push lightness as far as I can symmetrically, then retopologize. And what I'll probably do is get a camera and kind of line it up and really continue refining it, but again still symmetrical. Just get all the shapes in place and then just kind of soft select and move things around to get the asymmetry. Because generally, although faces are asymmetrical, like people who are quite beautiful tend to have really symmetrical faces. Like her left eye is definitely a different shape from the right eye. It's a bit more droopy, a bit more aimed down. Her nose seems like it's tilted slightly to the left, so this nostril's a little bit wider and lower. But generally speaking, she'll be very symmetrical just because she's quite a beautiful person. So I'll use symmetry for as long as I can, basically. Right, let's get this bottom lip. Pinch that. Those need to be a lot rounder. Top lip's not far off in terms of roundness. Are you planning sculpting neutral pose, or is that your primary ref? Primary ref, I'm just going to match this image as close as I can, so I won't do a neutral. I'm just going to sculpt directly to match this. Once I've got to that stage, I'm not sure if I want to do the tilted head or if I'm going to have the head vertical and then tilt the body. That's technically, obviously that's not what she's actually doing, she's tilting the head, but groom wise it makes it a lot easier if her head is as symmetrical as possible because I can mirror guides and that sort of thing. Whereas if I keep the head tilt, I have to do everything from scratch on both sides, which I'm not entirely keen on doing. Although that said, this top reference is so high resolution that I can trace lines, like exactly trace them, so I don't really need to worry too much about repeat work, but it is still a consideration. I need to fix the nostrils from the front view now. I need to double check the anatomy of the nose because I feel like a lot of these shapes I'm not entirely sure what I'm looking at, which just means I don't understand the anatomy well enough. Like I know the general line to cartilage, like I know it's like cartilage, like basically that kind of shape, and then bone ends here, but there's a lot of grey area in that. I should probably save. Just now realizing I haven't saved yet. Personal projects, FKA Twigs, modeling, ZBrush, scenes. FKA Twigs, sculpt 1.01. And now I'm gonna, because I'm now paranoid, I'm gonna save version 2 at the same time. So I got a backup of them. I'll have to go through and delete the history on them as well. And just save that again. now the file size will be a lot smaller. So going from 300 megabytes to 26 megabytes. I've got her ears too big. 100% her ears are too big. Her head is tilted slightly back there, but it doesn't matter. So I'm going to grab a drink, guys. Back in a sec. I got some chocolate raisins as well, don't I? I've got 19 notifications on Facebook right now.
David said you didn't listen to his notes either.
I actually attempted his though. It's just that I spent a day on them rather than, you know, the couple of days it would have taken. The burnout on the Rowan Creature got hard. Just delete the history. Right. Nose isn't pointy enough. Now it's too round. Let's reduce the Z intensity on that guy. Should rearrange these. Let's get them in roughly the order I'm using them. That helped a bit. The eyes were too high. How soon after graduation did you get a job in VFX? I was quite fortunate. I got a job before I graduated, but most of the time it depends a lot on where you go and what you're applying to. It can range a huge amount. So if you're soon to graduate and you're worried about how long it'll take to get a job, don't worry. It can take a while. I was just incredibly lucky with mine.
I took about 8 months.
Yeah, Becca's took 8 months.
My rule that I wanted.
Was it 8 months? May to January, right? Yeah, I guess so. Chubby your cheeks.
Chubby your cheeks. The front's starting to really look like her. Still feel like this bit needs to go like this.
Which bit?
This part.
Oh, the forehead.
It just needs to be like, you see the way you put quite a
This
nice,
angle's really not working.
Yeah. But you see the way if you turn this side view to match up with her side view, like rotate. You see, no, see the side view for her hair, yeah.
That one.
Can you rotate to match that? Her
Forehead
head
needs to go further
is
back.
so fucking flat. It's weird. It's like
I've got the whole forehead too far back. I think.
Yeah,
Or the lower face too far forward. It's the nose angle is what's giving it away.
Yeah, I think her nose is.
Oh, her nose is too low.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That helps a lot. The gap between here and here is smaller.
Yeah.
But I can't tell why. Is it because the nose is too low? I think the nose again is too low. No. Not that. I'll just add a little bump.
Is it her actual is it just in general that her lower face is a bit too big maybe?
Can't quite tell. I feel like I need to do a camera lineup.
Can you go to the side view and zoom into her upper head? So yeah.
But she does have a brow. It's super subtle.
This part here is more like this. It's like this.
It needs that to an extent.
So if I
Let's see.
actually, I could do it with sticking it out. So the planes of her head are really weird. It's like she has this bit here is actually nearly flat. You can see that. But then her curve starts almost immediately here. You know what I mean? So it's like she's like literally 3 fingers of flatness.
I think a shape that I'm missing is, you see this small triangle?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm missing
I
that.
get you.
So I need to get that in. Basically, need to get that shape.
Yeah. And wrap it around so it's like a flatter kind of plane. I feel like her eyes might be too sunken.
You think?
Yeah, especially turns.
Well, it's not a perfect side view, is the problem. Although I guess that makes it even worse. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Oh, the eyelids as well are really
Tiny.
pushed forward.
Hers
No.
are really
Yeah, hers are pushed forward. Mine are quite flat. So let's get the eye. Let's get a perspective on. But as an experiment, let's try keeping the eyelids where they are, but the eyelid shelf further forward. Too thin. Her eyelid droops quite a lot. Not like that though. Let me undo all those moves. Because the eye shape from the front I felt alright about. Which means I just need to mask this. Oh, come on.
Just 15 people watching your stream now.
Yeah, there was quite a few at peak. Although I did just today post a finished project, so there's always a little bit of a hype. Well, not hype, but like an increase in traffic whenever you post finished work.
Feel free to introduce yourselves.
Yeah, there's currently 13 people watching. I can see, well, John's left. So there's like 5 names in the chat. Who's everyone else?
Like, Little Mom's there, Francisca's there,
Yeah.
Pat could be there.
Sheer accident, and definitely not for this project, but kind of interesting. These artifacts here look like little tribal, like whelps, like they do that little thing.
Oh yeah.
They're kind of cool.
Not for this.
Not for her, but maybe for a future project, that kind of placement is quite interesting. Feels more like a boy than a woman at the moment, which is difficult.
I thought it felt pretty feminine.
Did. Now it feels like a boy.
What do you think? Oh, it does. Kinda.
Kinda means it does. The cheeks are the reason. It's that brow change that I made. It's too aggressive. What's that? The pizza is aggressive. Back up, please.
Another life, day in the life of Jimmy Milton.
I'm wondering if I want to do makeup in the final thing.
Yeah, I prefer the subtle makeup.
Yeah.
So if you want a girl to give you a hand, start.
Why are you gonna put makeup on me?
No.
Make me look like her.
Give her
I'm sure a bit of foundation is all you need to make me look like her, right?
That'll be defined as blackface, Michael. And that is wrong.
What?
That would be defined as blackface, Michael.
No. That's not what I meant.
She just gets such nice features. I love.
Why do you feel like a boy?
I think there needs to be more of a cut in on her. I know she's wearing like bronzer and shit.
One sec. I figured out one of the things.
What?
That's a bit too aggressive. Perfect. Kind of never replied to your message.
Oh, what a rude person.
Clearly doesn't care about you as a friend. El gasp. Can you re-topo with the groom? Game. Stop it. The thing is, every time I see your questions, I'm just like, although you're doing it as a troll, I have had similar questions in the past where people to ask stuff and I don't understand their thought, like, at all. And you're really good at finding that grey area of, like, is this a question a beginner might actually ask?
I mean, it sounds like a question I would ask.
Yeah. But it's like, can you re-topo with the groom? It's like, as in using the groom to re-topo. Yeah, you just use guide curves to place the lines. You draw every edge with a guide curve. He's just like, ha ha ha.
Okay. I have a beard.
The more I sculpt, the more it feels like a boy.
Do you intend to end and do it like that?
Yeah, I'm not going to continue the stream for much longer. Your eyes are too open now. Can't wait to see you, Groom. We'll see how it goes. I think the eyebrows are going to be really fun to do on this. Like, they're just so defined. Like, the clumping is piss easy. But like this stuff, like these strays and the blending into the head, I'm gonna close that back door because it keeps slamming in the wind. I'm gonna end the stream at 10:30, I think. I think that's a fair time to end it. So the thing is, the longer I work on this, the more blind I'll get to the shapes. Although I was watching a Zebra Summit video earlier from Chris Costa, and he was like, oh, when I find myself getting blind, I'll just do this. And it's a hard reset. So, is it possible for me to turn the images upside down? Or rotate the canvas? Can I rotate the canvas upside down? Is there a key to do that? Oh, there is. Perfect. I can't hear what you're saying, Becca. This is a really helpful trick. Fuck. Yeah, well, look at this. Just rotate your ref and your sculpt upside down. And all of a sudden...
That really helps.
All of a sudden I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah, like...
My entire...
High point of this.
Yeah. That's kind of funny looking. Right, okay, so this needs to be straighter. That needs to be there. That helps a lot, Jesus.
Yeah, well, my friend always likes whenever she's like doing concept art, she like flips the canvas because you can see the shape.
Yeah, it's a lot of a lot of concept artists do that. Turn the images with the group. Stop it! Stop it, Kiam.
What was he saying?
He's like, turn the images with the groom. Like, fuck off, Kiam. not Kian, Kiam.
This asset looks nice. Can't wait to see. Can you say groom one more time? Like
That helps.
Yeah, it did.
That already helps. Right, I'm gonna do the nose. Sculpting upside down, who knew?
Do a backflip.
I need to make sure I've got perspective turned off though. This is actually unreasonably helpful. Because it forces you to look at the shapes. Like, you won't know the shapes, you just have to purely observe. Which is good, because it's easy to get into the habit of just drawing what you want to see. Although it's really tricky to sculpt upside down, because obviously all my knowledge of like how normals should look is completely flipped. So it's really hard to tell like when I'm sculpting in the right area or not. So I'm going to like occasionally flip, but have the shapes in mind. So I've got these shapes here, and then I need to make that more narrow. And turn perspective back on. Which button was it?
What noise was that?
I don't know.
That was horrible. Let's not do that again, please.
Guillaume replied to you saying, can you say groom one more time?
Groomies of the groom.
Groomies of the groom.
Groom guys.
The groomies. I missed the groom department. That shit was fun. I miss people.
You just
People are cool. When people aren't annoying and asking how to retopper with a groom, people are cool.
Ooh, that put me in that mood.
What mood?
This girl, it was like, it's a depression meal, and it was like cucumbers with ranch and cheddar, but I can picture that taste in my mouth. Oh, it's a good combo.
Wait, what was a good combo?
So cucumbers sliced up, and then some cheese, and then ranch dressing.
That doesn't sound good.
It's delicious.
It's a depression meal, Becca. That's kind of the point, right?
Yeah, but it's like delicious.
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 Why so delicious?
I make this beautiful food, and then I eat the not so beautiful food.
You can just go hee hee. Yeah, in the corner of the eyes and right. Game, have mercy.
I missed the death too. It's the basic. What? See, as you say, I have been asked questions which make a lot less sense, but genuine.
I've had some questions over the years. Some real questions where I'm just like.
Stressing on anything, Ian, to be fair, I could probably friggin' put it on like ice cream and eat it. I really miss. I don't know.
Can I add a little information here?
No.
In that we once ordered an Indian takeaway, and Becca put some mayonnaise on her curry.
That's because it tastes so good. It's so creamy. It mixes.
It was a korma, the creamiest of curries.
No, it was. It was so spicy and hot.
Korma literally doesn't have spice.
And
you just added mayo because you want to add mayo.
You're gonna have a girlfriend by the end of the stream. Shut up. Yeah, you.
Me?
Dressed like a kid who forgot his PE kit.
I think Becca felt attacked with the mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise deserves the respect that you don't give it.
May you not?
May you not have a girlfriend. Also, something smells in your general direction, and I don't want to point fingers, but it's definitely you.
Something smells where you are sat, and I don't want to say it's you.
But it is fucking you. As you can tell, our relationship in the last how many months has it been now?
Been 2 months of being in a one-room apartment.
It's just gotten stronger all the time. Oh, you should show them our new child.
We don't actually have a child, guys.
Can you show them my bear?
Can you send me a picture of it on Facebook?
Yeah, there's a photo of it on my go to my timeline.
Oh yeah.
You can show there's multiple. There's the one with the party. So I inherited a child. This is my child. We haven't named it yet though.
Okay, so Becca won this for winning like a pub quiz type thing, and I'm not entirely sure it's a gift or a torture device.
Well, I've been making loads of costumes for it. So that's his party hat. Can you find his bikini? If you go to my photos.
Yeah. I don't know how to go into your photos to be honest. Photos. There it is.
And then this one, I made it a bikini.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Look at him. That photo is so well lit. Also, yeah, we have fake grass on our balcony. What is that thing? It's called a fuggler. And it's got human teeth.
The thing is, it's called a fuggler. And you'd think it's short for like fuck ugly. But they clearly know that, so they've called it a funny ugly.
Yeah, funny ugly creature.
Funny ugly is what the fuggler stands for. Funny ugly is like.
But my boss was like, they spent forever trying to decide which one to get me because there's so many of them. But like, it's kind of terrifies me a little bit. You know what I mean?
Terrifies everyone, to be honest.
God, some of these are terrifying. Oh, I want to order another one. They're really cheap though.
Guillaume really wants you to see his comment, Becca.
Use this now. God, no. Are we talking
Read
about
before that. Read up.
There's no comment.
No mayo on the fucking broom. No, Becca, no.
It just says no mayo. It doesn't say anything about mayo for me. It just says no.
Yeah, no mayo.
God, no. Alright, Michael Scott, calm down. Oh, the fuggler I wanted to stop.
I feel like the eyelid doesn't come far back enough on this side. What, Fugler?
Yeah.
Do it.
There's a blue one with teeth. This is freaking cool. Oh, but I like that one. Yes, this one.
You're cute when you're excited.
Where
Pity
did
about
you
the rest of
order
the
this
time.
to? The Entertainer. No place to happen.
Alright guys, good evening. Are you heading off? Oh no,
No,
who will hurl groom-based questions at me? Thanks man, enjoy the rest of your day.
What other costumes does my Fugler need?
Don't know.
I think a little Hawaiian shirt would be cute. No, funny. No, right, honey.
Let's zoom into the high-res one. I'm not placing wrinkles yet, I'm just placing those to kind of figure out the eye bags. Don't look at this and think this is the right time to add wrinkles, because it's really not. Well, that's one thing I find, like, if anyone in this stream, because there's quite a few people watching, 17, we're actually at all-time record, actually, for the stream anyway. But yeah, so if you're new to sculpting, and I'm not a professional sculptor, so I can't give too much advice, so take everything I say with a pinch of salt. Can't even remember what I was going to say, to be honest. Oh yeah, like rushing into details too quickly is by far the most common issue I see with beginner grooms. Don't be afraid of taking your time with a sculpt. You shouldn't be adding details before you got the primary forms done. And then you shouldn't be adding secondary until you got the you shouldn't be adding secondary forms until primary forms are done. You shouldn't be adding wrinkles until the secondary forms are done. And keeps going ad infinitum. Let's smooth this. Her eyelid turns up like really high. Like that looks uncomfortable. I've only just noticed like her eyelid shelf starts here, but then it rolls up over the eye. That looks super uncomfortable. I'm not going to model that yet. I'm going to wait until I've got retoppo before I do that. That just looks like it would complicate retoppo. At least visually complicate it anyway. Right, I'm going to be ending the stream in just a couple of minutes, guys. If anyone has any questions, although I can't imagine there's many questions to be honest, let me know. If not, I will kind of continue streaming on today is Tuesday, so I'll be streaming again in 2 days on Thursday. So we'll kind of continue with the likeness. Well, not likeness, we're still getting primary forms in place. We haven't really done much likeness work yet. Like proper likeness anyway. So yeah, I'll be ending the stream in a couple of minutes, guys.
You can come and look at my project.
What, when the stream's over? Sure, yeah. And tomorrow do you want to go through some groom stuff? Sick. I feel like the skull shape is wrong. Let me check something. I think it was here to here should be the same as there to there. Which is way off. Does that mean my skull's way too thick? Let's save this and check. Oh, actually, I need to delete the history and save it again. Edit, delete, undo history. Save again. I'm going to try pulling the back of the skull way in. Nah, that's definitely not right. I must have had the wrong measurement. What is it that's out of place? Something makes the skull feel the wrong shape. That helps. Yeah, that helps a lot. Okay, so it's just behind the ear is too much volume. Question is, can I draw a convincing looking skull on this? It seems like it makes some sense. Although the teeth might be... I've got a feeling something's wrong with the teeth here. The gap between where the eyebrows will be and where the eyelid is too large. So I need to move the brow down, I think. That doesn't feel right. Cool, right, well I'm going to end the stream, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it so far. And I'll get back to it on Thursday. Same time as always, 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So yeah, see you guys in a couple of days if you all want to come back. If not, bye. Saying bye, Becca?
Bye.
Bye. There we go. Stream's over.